we have a mental health issue in New Zealand for sure. And that's why it is so good now to be joined by these guys. Luke McFarlane is talking to us. He's a member of this team of just blimmin' decent Kiwi blokes who are driving round, 4 mates from the Bay of Plenty, driving around in this epic mission in a camper van to go to all 24 of the country's lighthouses. And they're raising awareness for mental health charities, and particularly male mental health. So, how incredibly relevant that we're talking about this right now. Luke, how's it going? Have you set off already?
Morena, Josie, how are you?
Morena, nice to hear you. You set off on your trip already in the camper van? Four of you in one camper van?
Yeah, so we completed a mammoth effort yesterday with a climb up Moa and Mount Maunganui yesterday morning at 5 o'clock. We were joined by a good crew to feel well us and Christian Reid from Lucky to Be Alive. And then we've made our way around the east coast. Unfortunately, not able to reach the East Cape Lighthouse due to the cyclone that's washed out the roads here, and the community's doing it pretty tough. So it was pretty unfortunate. We're feeling for them, and we made our way to Hastings last night. We're just currently in Woodville on our way to Castle Point.
Right. So there are there 24 lighthouses across the whole country? Is that how many we've got?
Yeah, give or take. There's a lot of beacons, but there's a lot of white lighthouses. There's a bit of a novelty one last night in Wairoa, where they've shifted off the coast and hit in the main street. My first time there, pretty cool little spot. So we're enjoying it. It's a big trip, 6,500 kilometres in 12 days. So we've got a couple of 14-hour days on the road, but it's for a great cause. And there's a lot of, like you say, organisations that are struggling to do their best for mental health around New Zealand. And if we can sort of raise awareness for them and raise some funds to help them do their job, then that's the whole goal of this trip.
And Luke, what made you guys, you 4 blokes, what made you do this?
Yeah, great question. Like, I don't think anyone's completely immune to the black dog or that feeling of being overwhelmed, and I've certainly gone through periods of it. And so just seeing the impact it's having on some friends of mine, myself, it sort of felt like more needed to be done. And rather than sort of begin something fresh and compete with other organisations, we're just there to support them. And so by raising this money, we just hope to help them do their bit, especially around the smaller smaller communities. So, for instance, we're about to catch up with Jonas from Men's Group Wairarapa. So there's 7 groups around the country that we're raising money for. So we've got 7 farmers that are based all around the country. We've got Jonas from Men's Group Wairarapa, Martin Stoneman from Whirlwind, Christian Reid from Lucky to Be Alive. We've got Canterbury Men's Centre, Taranaki Retreat, Tough Talk, in Whanganui. So,
good on you, Luke, for not thinking that the solution to this is to create yet another charity. It is actually to support the existing charities out there, because you're absolutely right. I worked for the charitable sector. We have, per head of population, way too many charities in New Zealand. So you're better to work through the existing ones that you know have got all the processes in place and are doing good work. So I really respect the fact that you've done that, and you're basically raising money. We had $1 billion promised by the government for mental health. Are you seeing any impact from that at all yet?
I think you've hit the nail on the head in the previous statement, just around the fact that we're trying to divide it by so many different little portions that we can't effectively do the best that we can with the allocated funds. You know, we see people like Mike King in tears in his car struggling to sort of raise the funds that he needs for his organisation. That shouldn't be happening. So I think we need to consolidate a little bit and maybe a little bit better forward planning in regards to how it's divided up. But yeah, ultimately, we're just here to support the key ones that we've been able to reach out to and have been willing to jump on board with us. We've got some great sponsors that are helping us make this happen. So we've got TrackMap, Trail Light and Classic Builders. And we've also just got the Give a Little page, which has got all our social media updates. So that's the Lighthouse Project NZ, just on there. So, yeah, I mean, it's such a tough one. I don't know if there's one right answer to it, but definitely, like you say, that consolidation of funds and charities to sort of have more of a team effort rather than an individual effort.
Luke, why do men find it so hard to reach out when they're depressed and the black dog on the back?
Oh, look, you know what, I reflect on this so often, especially when it comes to parenting my own children. I guess I'm slightly a product of what we've historically had, a bit of a toxic masculinity culture in New Zealand, where it's like, toughen up, boy, you'll be fine. And that's just generational, based on how things have been. And if you reflect on, like, we've had men come back from war, they've gone through some horrific things. So I guess the small troubles that we sometimes face in our lives aren't so prominent. And so I guess we're just all products of that ongoing
sort of feeling that
mentality.
you can't really, unless you're sort of in a war zone, you shouldn't be complaining. There's a sort of sense of that, isn't there?
Yeah, so it's sort of, for me personally, it's a little bit embarrassing. It's a little bit something I don't want to do, because you can be scared of being judged. And I guess that's how so many New Zealanders feel. And I know that perception's changing. I know that these organisations are doing a bit to change that perception as well. And so I think it's just a process. It's not an overnight fix, but it's one that we're certainly going to work towards.
And what would you say to people who are listening to this, men who are listening to this going, well, that's me, and I've got no one to talk to, and, I want to reach out, but I don't know where to reach out?
Oh, look, number one, if you're feeling that way, someone's got your back. And that's the best option, is to reach out. Regardless of how you feel, you might be being a burden on someone, or it might be a little bit embarrassing, that you're not. And so there are tons of organisations out there. There's information everywhere if you look for it. But I guess the number one for blokes particularly is to just talk to a mate. Be honest with them. That's why we called it the Sweet Ngā Tour. Often we're asked by friends, how's it going? You automatically go, oh, sweet. But we're trying to push that honesty, that self-reflection of, I'm actually not sweet, so it's that nah.
Yeah.
And so that's the number one. Be honest with yourself, be honest with someone else, and get the help that you deserve.
Brilliant, Luke, and I wish the four of you the best of luck, and we'll catch up with you on your trip. But yeah, just good on you. I take my hat off to you. And just tell us very quickly what the Give a Little page is again.
The Lighthouse Project NZ at the Give a Little, and you'll see all our social media links are on there, and we're uploading interviews with these organisations onto YouTube channel Sweet Ngā. So
brilliant.
Yeah, please jump on board Aotearoa, support these guys, because they're doing amazing mahi in their communities.
Thanks, Luke.